Set in France, the story follows Elias, a former military commando now living in a care home for war veterans. Whenever Elias steps out, he sticks a piece of tape over his door, a simple trick to check if anyone has entered his room while he's away. At a nightclub, Elias meets Jan, a friend he considers a brother. Ian offers him a job as a bodyguard at a wealthy man's estate. But when Elias realizes Ian is now involved with a gang, he hesitates and turns down the offer. What sets Elias apart is his remarkable skill. With nothing more than a flattened cigarette filter, he can fashion a sharp weapon. This level of expertise is something rarely seen in ordinary people. When Elias returned to the care home, he noticed the tape on his door was disturbed. But it was only the care home supervisor checking on him. The supervisor mentioned that Elias was still living as if he were on the battlefield, a sign of lingering post-war trauma. Feeling misunderstood and unwilling to stay where he didn't belong, Elias made the decision to leave. Elias eventually met Jan at his business, a skydiving rental service. After reconsidering, Elias agreed to take the job offer. The next day, Elias arrived at the home of his new employer, a wealthy man from Dubai named Jamal. Along with Jamal, the house was also occupied by his younger sister, Amina, and his niece, Nour.
Salam, monsieur.
Elias's duty was to protect Amina and Nour from any threats, as their noble lineage often made them targets. With the help of a senior bodyguard, Elias began his new job.
En gauche, direction la piscine. Il y a des caméras dans tous les secteurs du château.
Elias's first task was to watch over Amina as she swam in the luxurious pool. However, the job quickly became stressful as he also had to keep an eye on Nour, who wouldn't stop riding her bicycle around. After Amina finished swimming, Elias was asked to retrieve a package delivered to the side entrance. As Nour suddenly rode out on her bicycle, Elias noticed two suspicious men on a motorcycle nearby. He immediately reported it to the head of security, who handed him a pistol as a precaution. That night, Elias found Nour observing constellations through her telescope. When Nour asked how he knew the names of the constellations, Elias explained that as a paratrooper, astronomy was one of the basic skills he had to master. The next morning, Elias witnessed an argument between Amina and Jamal about his rule forbidding her and Nour from leaving the house.
وش راح تسوي المرة الجاية؟ ومين معها حق؟
Citing security concerns, Jamal finally gave in to their demands, allowing them to go out under one condition. Elias would accompany them as both a driver and bodyguard, staying alert for any unexpected danger. On the way home from shopping, their car was harassed by two suspicious motorcyclists. Elias immediately sped up to evade them. Once they were safely back at the house, Elias questioned Nour about who those men might be. Reluctantly, Nour confessed that she and her mother had fled Dubai to escape her abusive father. She suspected the men were mercenaries sent to capture them. Feeling betrayed, Elias confronted Jamal, demanding answers at gunpoint. Before Jamal could respond, a team of assassins stormed the house. Killing all the guards and even the guard dogs. Elias sprang into action, eliminating several attackers with his combat skills. After finding Amina hiding in a cabinet, Elias used a communication device taken from one of the assassins to learn that Nour had been captured near the west side pool. Securing Amina in a car, Elias armed himself with an iron umbrella stand and fought his way to the pool. In the end, Elias rescued Nour and Amina and got them to safety. However, during their escape, they were once again pursued by a team of assassins. In a high-speed chase, Elias skillfully set a trap and successfully neutralized their pursuers. They finally sought refuge at Elias's half-brother's house in a rundown neighborhood. However, news had already spread that Elias was the prime suspect in the murder of Jamal and his guards. Suspecting that Yan was involved, Elias confronted him to demand clarification. Yan claimed he knew nothing about the incident. Instead, he questioned Elias's motives for killing Jamal and all his guards. Determined to prove his innocence, Elias immediately took Yan to Jamal's house. When they arrived, Elias was shocked to find the house in pristine condition, with no signs of a shootout. But the real shock came moments later, as both Elias and the audience realized the true culprit was none other than Elias himself. As explained earlier, Elias suffered from severe post-war trauma. His condition left his mind fractured, creating fantasies that made him believe he was constantly in danger. This was why he needed to take medication regularly and be placed in a care home specifically for war veterans. While Elias began to reflect on actions he couldn't even remember, Yan decided to review the CCTV footage.
C'est un commando qui tue ton collègue. C'est un deepfake.
Yan discovered something shocking. The CCTV footage had been manipulated using AI-based deepfake technology, disproving the allegations previously made against Elias. Yan and Elias copied the footage as evidence to present to the police. Additionally, Yan agreed to help Elias track down the person who had initially offered him the job, in an effort to clear their names. They finally met Durante, the man responsible for fabricating the CCTV footage. After being subjected to extreme interrogation, Durante confessed that Nour's father was one of the most influential figures in Dubai. He was the one who sent the assassins to Jamal's house. Moreover, Nour's father had also involved French intelligence to ensure that Nour and Amina would be taken back to Dubai. After dealing with Durante, Elias and Yan returned to the hideout where Nour and Amina were staying. Elias explained that France was no longer safe for them. In this situation, England became their best option for hiding. Assuming that both air and sea routes were being monitored by spies, Yan suggested taking an illegal route with undocumented immigrants using a shipping container. On the way to the container location, Elias noticed one of the assassins tailing them. He quickly decided to follow the man to a white van. Without hesitation, Elias took down the entire group of assassins in a matter of moments. The bite mark from a dog on one of the attackers confirmed that they were the same people who had raided Jamal's house earlier. Upon arriving at the port, Nour and Amina entered the container alongside other undocumented immigrants. However, a frightened Nour begged Elias to stay with her. Elias agreed to accompany them until they reached their destination. A few minutes after the truck started moving, the driver suddenly hit the brakes. Elias sensed something was wrong. Sure enough, the truck was ambushed by a new commando unit. In the ensuing gunfight, Amina was shot in the head and killed, while all the other immigrants were also slaughtered. Wearing a bulletproof vest, Elias was the only one who survived and managed to escape just moments before the truck was blown up. At the commando unit's headquarters, Jan and Nour were held captive. The diamond tattoos on the captors' hands confirmed they had been tracking Nour and Amina all along. After relentless torture, Jan revealed Elias's background as a specialist in extractions and parachuting. With 14 successful missions and 11 rebel leaders eliminated single-handedly. The mercenaries killed Jan and alerted their allies in Dubai to prepare for Elias's likely arrival to rescue Nour. As they feared, Elias was determined to rescue Nour from her father. With help from Jan's assistant, he quickly discovered that Nour was being held in a skyscraper that also served as her father's residence. After completing his preparations, Elias departed that night. Hours later, over the city of Dubai, the pilot gave a countdown. It was time for Elias to jump. Elias landed on the rooftop fully equipped with night vision goggles and a folding firearm. He swiftly entered the building and neutralized the guards one by one. He successfully rescued Nour with little resistance. But as they were about to leave, the building's security system was activated, sending all the guards to hunt him down. In Nour's father's private collection room, Elias fought off guards with military training, but overpowered them due to his superior experience. Using CCTV cameras, he took down 3 guards from behind a door and instructed Nour to hide in an elevator while he faced the attackers under fire sprinklers. After defeating the attackers, Elias carried Nour to safety. Before heading to the rooftop, Elias considered killing Nour's father, but was stopped by Nour, who insisted it wasn't necessary.
Non, Elias, laisse mon père. Moi, je veux juste partir d'ici.
On the rooftop, Elias and Nour prepared to escape using a parachute. Nour was initially afraid of heights, but with Elias's reassurance, she agreed to jump. They successfully escaped.
Passe ton bras.
Elias took Nour to a safe place where she could start a new life, far from her father's threats. Meanwhile, Elias had one final mission: to take revenge on the Diamond Tattoo group responsible for Jan's death. The message we can take from this film is, it teaches us the courage to face past traumas and choose the right path to start a new life, even in the face of challenges.